The 7 levels of plot twists. Spoilers will be kept at a minimum to none at all.
Level 1. Trash.
The plot twists on this level stink and should have never left the drawing boards. In fact, they should have never left the outer layer of the cerebral cortex in which it came from. Either through financial motivation to set up a sequel, or the creators were bored or missing brain cells, these plot twists disrespect cinema for its contradictions, timeline inconsistencies, lack of foreshadowing, and underdevelopment. These twists don't emerge organically from character, theme, or structure. Take Fantastic Beasts 2 as an example. The film spends 2 hours doing a whole load of this and that through subplots, only to drop a twist so garbage that it felt like the writers had never watched or read Harry Potter before. It actively contradicts the established universe, and based off the timeline is seemingly impossible without some bullcrap timeline alteration. Another garbage twist is Serenity, a film that was going well until the biggest pile of horseshit plot twists. I promise I wouldn't spoil any movies, but you probably won't watch Serenity. The film begins as a normal thriller with an average plot and an even better cast, notably Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway. But that doesn't matter, the story wasn't real, it was a simulation in a fucking fishing game. They took the "it was all a dream" cliche and shat on it even more. Feel free to throw in plot twists where one of the protagonists was actually evil all along, or vice versa.
Level 2. Bad.
Twists that try to be smart and have a good idea but sucks due to their contradiction or execution with disappointingly lazy build-up. Like level 1, they can inherently destroy a film, but they can also garner a small following that fully back the direction of the twist. I'm still recovering from the end of How I Met Your Mother, which I felt was forced in order for certain plot points to hit, with these so-called plot points insulting the core of the show. These twists can also be clunky or goofy, like in The Happening. Another prime example would be Hancock. The movie starts strong, a fresh gritty take on a reluctant superhero, then halfway through the twist drops and you're kinda there like, what the fuck? It derails the tone, doesn't add anything to what was being set up, and weakens Hancock's arc. The last example that defines the bad plot twist level is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker bringing back Palpatine. And no, me saying Palpatine returning is not a spoiler, his goofy ass was in the trailer, but the real twist is his relationship with a certain main character. Is he Finn's long lost dad? No, but I wish he was. The real twist is so insulting, so desperate that it instantly made what was already a crap Star Wars movie even worse. There's no setup, the delivery was poop with no foreshadowing, and it contradicts the emotional arc of the entire trilogy and spits on the originals.
Level 3. Mid.
These are the plot twists where the crowd goes mild. Where the last 2 levels evoked anger and rage, this one evokes your melatonin receptors. The plot twist you don't love or hate, and probably predicted a quarter way through. These twists are perfectly functional and technically make sense, but don't do anything that hasn't been done before. The perfect example is the movie Goodnight Mummy. True story, when I booted up this movie for the first time, my friend walked in, watched it for 5 minutes and guessed the plot twist while still stood up and then walked out. On the other side of the same coin are twists that were placed in just for the sake of it, but you don't really care enough to feel anything. Take Spectre for example. On paper the Blofeld twist seems monumental, but in execution it feels oddly weightless. There's almost no emotional groundwork laid before the reveal. The film rushes through the connection in a few lines of dialogue, expecting the audience to suddenly care about it when it was never hinted and never thematically explored. James Bond doesn't even react in shock, he reacts like his water stopped working in his apartment. Finally, I would also include the plot twist from the movie Identity. On paper, it's a clever concept which doesn't reinvent the wheel, but the film already dragged on a bit and the revelation is telegraphed heavily, which can be a good thing, but in this case it falls flat.
Level 4. Upper Mid.
Level 4 is where plot twists start to feel satisfying. These aren't mind-melting or genre-defining, but they're crafted with enough intention, build-up and thematic relevance that the reveal lands. Movies in this tier set up twists that seed clues and delivers a payoff that feels earned rather than improvised. Unlike level 3 twists which are functional but forgettable, level 4 twists have shape. They recontextualize the film and enhance the emotional or narrative stakes. Like I mentioned before, just because a twist is mid doesn't mean the movie is mid. I loved the movie The Visit, but it would be biased if I put the twist any higher than level 4. Did it shock me? Yes. Did it amplify the quality of the movie? Yes. But it wasn't seismic, it didn't elevate the film beyond its own boundaries. Another great movie with an above average plot twist is Malignant, which you can kind of guess the premise of the twist but not really the actual product. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I mean. I would also put twists from Gone Girl and Orphan into this category, and this might be a controversial pick but screams plot twist as well. The latter's twist is clever, clean, and still widely praised, and I like how it's the original answer to the slasher genre's biggest flaw: how does a single killer appear everywhere at once? Level 4 twists execute well and they're clever without overreaching and memorable without needing shock value.
Level 5. Great.
Where plot twists cross into impressive territory, these twists elevate the entire film and in turn retroactively make earlier scenes richer, smarter, and more emotionally resonant. The writers hide clues in plain sight, manipulate perspective intentionally, and build a payoff that feels both shocking and inevitable. When the twist lands, the audience feels deep emotion, and no other film defines this like Primal Fear does. Another movie that sits on this level with a great plot twist is Fight Club. Fincher doesn't rely on shock, he relies on cinematic language, jump cuts, missing time, asymmetrical framing, and clues that are visible only in hindsight. The twist deepens the film's critique of masculinity, consumerism, and identity. Suddenly, every scene is loaded with double meaning. It's the kind of twist that forces you to rewatch the movie. Another great reveal that enriches the movie instead of hijacking it is Sixth Sense. This twist is the gold standard of an overly used trope hidden in plain sight. The reveal is shocking, but when the montage plays, the audience realizes that Shyamalan weaved it in meticulously. Every rule was established, every scene was structured to support the truth. Examples of other movies that sit on this level are Usual Suspects and Cabin in the Woods, both of which are fantastic movies with great plot twists. Despite showing an understanding of narrative architecture, what prevents a lot of movies that fall into this category from moving up is the synergy between the twist and the rest of the movie. The twist and the movie must work hand in hand, where removing the reveal would still leave behind a compelling film rather than an empty shell. But with that being said, the twist on this level enhances the character, theme, and structure, and it often defines the entire film.
Level 6. Amazing.
These plot twists are masterpieces, a realm where plot twists become pure cinematic craftsmanship. These twists are meticulously engineered, layered with foreshadowing, emotional resonance, and thematic depth. Where a great plot twist transforms the movie, an amazing twist transforms you as the viewer. These films weaponize perspective, structure, and character psychology to pull you in emotionally. They don't rely on a single trick. They succeed because the entire film is architected around the twist with mathematical precision. The prestigious twist is the definition of excellence. Christopher Nolan layers the reveal with such intelligence that rewatching the film feels like studying a magic trick in reverse. The brilliance lies in its thematic symmetry, a movie about illusions built around the greatest illusion of all time that completes the film's structure like the final stroke of a masterpiece. The same can be said about Shutter Island with its emotionally brutal twist. Scorsese lures the audience into Teddy's paranoia with stormy cinematography, disorienting edits, and fractured memories. When the twist arrives, it reframes the entire film as a portrait of grief, guilt, and trauma. Another brilliant film that usually goes under most people's radar is The Game, delivering one of the most audacious twists in cinema that left me speechless. What makes the twist incredible isn't the reveal itself, but the precision of the misdirection leading up to it. And like The Game, The Prestige, and Shutter Island, whose twists are built with masterclass precision, The Wailing and Memento also earn their place here by forcing the audience to reinterpret every choice, every image, and every truth the film presents.
Level 7. GOAT.
Era-defining twists. This is the realm of generational art that shaped contemporary cinema and will be studied and analysed for decades to come. Not only is this the pinnacle of intelligent reveals, but they also act as cultural events. Moments in film history that permanently altered the language of storytelling, inspired generations of filmmakers, and burrowed itself into the collective memories of audiences worldwide. I crown only 4 movies with such royalty, and sat on the throne as the King of Kings is Oldboy. Park Chan-wook crafted a revelation so beautifully destructive, so psychologically violent, and so perfectly built that it stands unmatched in the history of cinema. Make sure you watch the original, not the remake. I promise it will change your life. In the same realm as Oldboy is of course The Empire Strikes Back. The line that changed pop culture forever. One glance at the general zeitgeist at the time of release shows how monumental it was. What people felt back then stuck with them forever, shaping an entire generation of people. That twist laid the foundation for the entire identity of the Star Wars universe. And just when you thought the horror genre spearheads every cliché and trope known in cinema, James Wan drops Saw 1 with one of, if not the greatest twist in both horror and cinema history. The twist elevated a low-budget film into $1 billion franchise that reshaped the entire genre. Finally, to round up the cohort of generational twists is Psycho, which pioneered the idea of psychological deception in film. This reveal shattered audience expectations in 1960 and continues to ripple through storytelling today, from slashers to thrillers to psychological dramas. It must have been the equivalent of giving a Sour Patch to a medieval peasant. All the movies mentioned on this level rewrote the rules and marked itself in their respective genres as the greatest to ever do it.